Appreciate good judges on the bench. All right, Richard, it's Friday, November 22nd, 2013.
That's correct. You got the day, the month, and the year right. So you're doing good so far.
Well, here's the first thing I want to say. I want to send a shout out to my good friend Ken Harris. I heard that he was a little under the weather after last week's show. So, Mr. Harris, if you're out there listening, I hope you're feeling much better tonight. I hope not to make you sick tonight.
Right. I hope you enjoy our show, and I think you will.
I'll try to watch it. Anyway, for just a second, let's talk serious. Today's the 50th anniversary of the Jfk Assassination.
Really? Didn't know that.
And for old guys like you probably remember where you are, where you were when that happened.
Yeah, I was on the school playground when the teacher came over and made the announcement.
Is that right? The teacher? You remember what sport you were participating in?
Dodgeball.
As a toddler?
It was dodgeball.
Sorry,
I was getting hit left and right.
Getting hit left and right. Well,
we had to stop to take the break, and she told us what happened, and we all went inside.
It's tragic, but I think everybody remembers it. That's probably at least in their mid-50s and up, perhaps.
Right. Well, I'm 61, so I was 11
Good
years
God,
old.
Man, you're that old? I didn't know that.
Even then, I was old. But you know what I remember more than the assassination of President Kennedy was like the next day. I'm sitting there because all the schools were closed.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my kitchen watching TV, like on a 12-inch screen, black and white.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching the Dallas.
Them leading them in.
Leading Lee Harvey Oswald down the aisle to, I guess, to the truck where they were going to move him to someplace else. And I'm sitting there, and I see this guy get in front, and I go, oh, my God, I think he's going to shoot him.
You thought that even as a kid?
And it was Jack Ruby. He took out the gun and shot him right there on television.
I watched that footage.
That was the most memorable thing.
Did you see the footage? They replayed that, I guess.
Oh, yeah, but I was there, and I told my son the other day, I was watching that on TV as it was happening. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, it is. And the only thing I want to leave you, listen, the truth is, I don't know that he governed long enough, how, 50 years later, how he rates as a president, but I will say one thing that I remembered, and I think it's timely, and I wrote it down. You remember what he's probably most noted for as far as sayings go?
Ask not what you can do for your country, but ask what your country can do for you. No, just the other way around.
No, it's the opposite, you dope. Yeah, it's not what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. In times like this, where everybody, has a give me attitude, then
I know. You don't hear a president saying that nowadays, or congressmen or senators.
No, you don't. But I made a vow, we're not going to get political, but it would be nice though if people stopped expecting things and wanted to.
I know, and see what they could do for the country to make it better, not what the country can do for them, so they can stay home.
That's right, sister. Amen. All right, so how was last weekend? You have a good weekend?
Last weekend, what did I do? Sat around Starbucks for half the weekend.
Did you really?
Waiting for clients to walk in and buy me a cup of coffee.
You didn't see a movie, did you? I told you. I saw that Dallas Buyers Club, and it was a good movie.
Yeah, I heard it was very good.
Yeah, it's a limited release because I wanted to see. Okay, I'm seeing it. Let's see who else is seeing it. I know it didn't place in the top 10, but it's still in limited release.
Because, the topic doesn't appeal to everybody. It's not, doesn't appeal probably to younger kids. Teenagers.
I guarantee you there will be Academy Award nominations. So if you want to see something, it's not like it's so heavy that it's depressing. It's not like that at all. But
I think a lot of people expect it to be that way, and that's why they probably didn't go.
So I'm telling you, for whatever it's worth, not like that. Now, the big movie they expect may set records.
And I know where you're going with this, because I know you've been talking about this for weeks.
I have at work. That's right. It's finally here. The Hunger Games, starring my favorite actress.
And who's that?
Jennifer Lawrence. Love that girl. She's funny. She's smart. She's nice to look at. I know I'm too old, but maybe I'll fix up with one of my boys. I don't know. Jennifer, if you're out there. But she is a great actress. The first one I liked, and the second one I liked.
But what movie? What's the first movie you saw her in?
The Hunger Games. I didn't see her. The first movie she really got critical acclaim for was something called Winter's Bone, which I didn't see. I think she got a nomination. In fact, I know she got a nomination. And then I saw her last year in that Silver Playbook Lining.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Playbook.
That was a great
movie. Great movie.
That's the kind of movie you can see over and over again.
This girl can do no wrong. In fact, she has another movie coming out after The Hunger Games. But I am definitely, just talked to my kid. I'm a little upset. My wife's out of town. I want to go see the movie. And he says, I may go, I promise somebody else. I said, you're going to make me take that loser, walk down the aisle by myself? I don't know. But I may have to.
You may see me sitting there by myself.
That's right. There'll be two losers there. Just sit a seat apart from me, if you would.
Exactly.
All right, so that kind of leads me into something which I should address now. For the first time in the history of our show, and we've been doing this now for 7 months, not at this wonderful station WBZT, 12:30 a.m.
Right.
But we've never given away anything, and we've tantalized the audience. But at some point tonight, I'm putting everybody on notice, we're giving away a $50 gift certificate courtesy of Carbonos Home Repair, your door and window expert.
That's correct.
I know, so
one of our main sponsors here on the show.
You got to listen. Now, should you decide to call, if you want to get your little fingers ready, the number in the Palm Beach area is 561-844-6167. Again, I'll repeat it, 561-844-6167.
But then let's tell them about the 800 number where the rest of the world can call in on.
Well, I am, and that is the number that's on our screen if you're watching. Otherwise, it's 1-800-889-0267.
But let's repeat it one more time.
Okay, 800-889-0267. And the beauty about Carrabba's, it's all over the country.
And not only that, if you eat at Carrabba's, you can also eat at Bonefish Grill, which is part of the same chain.
It is part of the same chain.
The Outback Steakhouse, Fleming's.
But you know what? You
Roy's.
said that, but I'm not sure because I looked at the gift card.
No, it is on the back of the card.
Does it say it can be used anywhere?
On the back.
Holding up to the screen.
On the back
Let's
of
see
the
if
card.
Richard's right. This card can be redeemed at any of our restaurants. So it's an Outback, it's a Bonefish, it's a Carrabba's, it's Roy's,
right,
and it's a Fleming's, which I know we don't have down here, but
there's
it's a
one in Orlando.
Yeah, I've actually eaten one in Las Vegas.
Yes,
once.
it's very good.
Anyway, so you got to keep listening, but some point during the show, I'm going to say, all right, we're going to take calls. I'm going to give you a trivia question, and we'll do something like the fifth correct caller wins.
Right.
So, all right, so that's that.
Okay.
Now, before I forget, we're going to start getting into stories. You know, this past Tuesday was a very important day. Do you know what day it was?
It was the day after Monday.
That's very good, Richard, and quite funny. Here, I'll give you one of these.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
All right, it was the first World Toilet Day designated by the United Nations.
You know, it's interesting you bring up toilets. I was reading an article. You know, believe it or not, there's a shortage of toilets in this world because the population is growing.
Yes, I am aware of that. Why do you think I have the article here, Richard?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin your story. Go ahead.
All right, so here we go. You already answered the first part. Did you know Tuesday's World Toilet Day, according to the United Nations? And what it says, of the world's 7 billion people, about 6 billion of those have cell phones, but only 4.5 billion out of the 7 billion have toilets or latrines. Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
So I'm no math whiz, but that's 2.5 billion people that don't have toilets.
And where do most of these 2.5 billion people live?
I was going to say, what do they do?
I hope you don't live next door to me.
It says, well, here it is. I should have kept reading. I wouldn't have to do the math in my head. That leaves 2.5 billion people without basic sanitation, making them vulnerable to disease.
You know what I think would be a good thing to sell over there to those people? Baby wipes.
You're 100% correct. It says sanitation is the largest global health challenge we're facing today.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a dirty behind. But it's not that. Well, I guess it is kind of that, but that's where the baby wipe joke was going.
Yeah.
It says it's the most neglected. It says, and this is very serious, it says one child dies every 17 seconds due to a lack of sanitation, unclean water, and poor hygiene.
Wow.
That's really a shocking figure. Every 17 seconds. And it says traditional sewage systems that run on water aren't practical in places where water is scarce. So think about it. You're out in the Sahara, basic plumbing, you need water. So you don't have that. So what do?
I don't know. Tell me.
Hey, let me see. According to the article, they say an example of waterless technology is a special kind of toilet where the waste goes into a bag. Then
I don't know if you've eaten at or gone to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
But if you go into their restroom, like the men's room, the urinals are waterless urinals.
They're waterless urinals?
There's no water used.
I don't get it. So when you urinate, where does it go?
It just disappears inside the toilet someplace. But in the urinal, it's waterless.
Well, I'll have to go check that out.
Yes.
Of course, you don't want to get arrested and they're hanging around there too often, Rich. But here's what it says. It says the person steps on a pedal and it seals the bag.
Well, it's funny. When you go on a plane.
So you didn't see any bags in Whole Foods.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but you ever gone in the bathroom on the airplane?
Yeah. There's water in that little
It sucks it down like really quick.
does.
Just sucks it right in.
Yeah, and I guess it stays there. I used to
so
think
they probably could do the same thing.
I thought when I was a little kid, poor farmer below, poor farmer Joe. But I guess that's not what happens. Although I know that the cruise ships, as far as I know, they don't store that stuff. I think it gets flushed in the ocean.
I think they have some type of process they go through before they release it into the ocean.
All right, so what it says here is that a lot of waste is being wasted, and they're saying that by capturing a small fraction of the feces, you can use it to produce methane-based electricity. So who knows? Maybe one day in the future. So if you decide you want to...
Actually, you may be the main source of electrical power in South Florida, if you don't mind me saying.
I think I could power my house.
I think you can power the whole street.
All right. So enough toilet talk, Mr. Friedman. We won't get much more vulgar and informative than that.
Our engineer in there is telling us we need to take a break.
Okay, let's take our first break, and we'll do the recorded break. I'll do the live thing in a little bit. So we'll see you in a minute or two.
Sounds good. Don't go away. Come right back.
Life is so overwhelming right now, isn't it? Emotional and financial challenges too much? More debt than you can possibly handle? Are you facing divorce or another family law problem? Injured and don't know where to turn? There is a source of solid, affordable legal guidance. At Elkins & Friedman, an experienced lawyer will explain options and treat you with respect and dignity. They help people throughout Central and South Florida solve those problems. This is a law firm you can trust, where they actually pick up the phone when you call. They have a 30-year record of positive results, and they make legal costs manageable for people from all walks of life. Make the call, 954-372-2630. When you visit, you might even meet Tiffany, the office mascot. Elkins & Friedman take the intimidation and the worry out of getting the legal help you really need. Call 954-372-2630 and begin to make sense of your life. Offices in Fort Lauderdale, Boynton Beach, and Palm Beach Gardens. Non-lawyer spokesperson. This is the Know Nothing Show with practicing attorneys Alan Elkins and Rich Friedman. Elkins and Friedman have been helping folks throughout Florida for more than 30 years, and they're here now to share their knowledge and experiences with you. Stand by for more information and fun.
Okay, we're back, right?
We're back, everybody.
Okay, we're back.
All right, so listen, do you think we should tease the audience more, or should we go ahead and start the giveaway?
I can't wait. I don't even know what the question is.
That's right. Mr. Freeman doesn't know the question. All right. I wanted to pick something that wasn't incredibly difficult, but something that you should know. People should know this.
Okay, so hold on, let's tell the people. We already gave them the 800 number, so let's give it to them one more time.
All right. You want
800-889-0267. Again, 1-800-889-0267.
Or in the local area, Richard?
561-844-6167.
All right, so...
Okay, but I also want to explain to them that it's the fifth caller, right?
Fifth caller.
That calls in with the right answer is going to win this gift card for Carrabba's / the Outback / Bonefish Grill.
Yeah, it's a lot of slashes in there, Richard, but You're correct. All right, so... As I just told everybody, I'm so excited to see the Hunger Games, and as most people I think are aware, the Hunger Games, the title of the first movie, and then Catching Fire is the movie that's coming out.
Right.
But as most people know, it's a trilogy. So my trivia question is, what's the name of the third book in the Hunger Games series?
Now, people, we should tell them, no cheating, no going on your Google and finding the answer.
They're quick enough. Let's see. But we're going to take the fifth caller. Now, I guess, should we continue on with the stories? Or Lynn, you're going to tell us? We already have people online? Not yet. Lynn says not a soul out.
No, if no one calls in,
because
I don't know the answer to this question, then I got a second question.
Yeah. Well, listen. We have a mentally challenged office. We have a mentally challenged audience if they can't look this up to be the fifth caller for this wonderful prize.
But we'll give them about 5 or 10 minutes. And if no calls come in, then that means they don't know the answer, and I got a backup question.
What are you kidding? No, then you and I take the card, we treat ourselves to a nice dinner.
Yeah, repeat it one more time.
Did somebody ask to repeat the question?
No, because I want to make sure that people...
Freddie, don't insult the intelligence of our audience. Okay, here's the question again.
Okay.
The Hunger Games series consisted of 3 books. The first one was The Hunger Games. The second one is the movie that's out now, which is called Catching Fire. So the question is, what is the name of the third book? Sold millions of copies, and they're shooting it right now, as a matter of fact. Okay? So
okay.
we'll go on right now.
Okay.
This is a good test of the intelligence of our audience.
Well, hold it. I don't know the answers. So.
Well, there you go. You proved my point. All right, listen,
Thanks.
while we're waiting,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
What are you going to do?
We're going to do, Freddie, we're going to talk about our fat guy update. If everybody remembers last week,
Right.
we had this story of the poor gentleman who weighs like 507 pounds. I looked it up. I did it. He was 230, I guess it's kilos or kilograms. 230 kilograms, which translates to 507 pounds. So you remember this poor guy came from France over the United States, had some type of medical issues, got so heavy that he attempted to fly back to the United States on British Air, and they said, sorry, we can't accommodate you. There are weight restrictions. You're just too fat to fly.
Right.
So the question was, what was he going to do? And I think last time we talked about the fact that he was going to try to take the Queen Mary over, something like that.
What happened with that?
Well, he got turned down. I guess for security reasons, he couldn't cross
the
the
Queen
Atlantic.
said no.
Yeah, Queen says, sorry, buddy, we can't fit your carcass on the ship.
So what was
they
his
turned
next
him down. So here's
choice?
what actually happened. I have an update. The people at Virgin Air, somehow they managed to put him on a plane, and Virgin Atlantic agreed to fly him back from New York. So they did so.
But
so
how did
here's
they
what
do
happened.
that?
Is this the plane that landed at the wrong airport in New York?
No,
Cargo plane?
no. That's another story, Freddie. You're right. Well,
No, but let me ask you, how did he? He's a
that was
large
Freddie's
man. So
attempt at humor, everybody, just so you know. No, Freddie, that's not the guy. But here's what happens.
how did they get him on this into a seat?
I don't know, Richard, a crane. I don't know. But somehow they get him into a seat. They manage to fly him over.
But just sorry to interrupt you, but it's funny they couldn't get the man that's blind. They wouldn't let him fly with a seeing eye dog.
That's right. Richard's talking about our last story. They wouldn't let a guy with a seeing eye dog
But
get
yet
on
they're
a
going to let
plane.
him.
All right. Well, listen, let's get
Yeah.
to the story. So he lands in the UK. He lands at, I think it was Heathrow. So he's at the airport, and he had then hoped to go ahead and get on a train. They have a train that goes underneath the tunnel, okay,
Right.
from Britain to France, where this guy's from. They said no because of reasons that you have to have the ability to get on and off, especially under the tunnel. And the guy was too fat to get on the train. So
what'd they do?
What's this poor guy going to do? So the bottom bottom line of the story is there is a ferry line called the P&O. Anybody that's been to Europe, you see the
was on
P&O line. They're the ferry boats.
Yeah, I took it over. I went there
Did you
in
take
the night, and then you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and some people I know they put their cars on these ferries
Yeah.
so they can handle. I guess somebody the size of a
And that's what they did.
Mini Cooper. Yeah. So what happened? They ferried him over. That's how he ended up getting back. And then what happened? He landed in a French town. I don't know. He traveled from
was it,
Dover
Paris?
to Calais. No, Richard, I know Paris. No, and then he traveled by ambulance to a place called Ferney-Voltaire. So
Wow.
glad to say our fat friend made it home.
That's
now,
good. Does he think he's going to take another trip anytime soon?
You know, and anybody in the audience, listen, I'm not a sensitive guy. I don't want to hear any complaints or about any fat jokes. Look, the guy's 507 pounds. I'm sorry. I feel badly for him, but he made it home, and that's the important part of the story.
Hey, Facebook wants to know if you're his fan club.
The fat guy?
Yeah.
If I'm a member of his, if he has
No,
a
if
fan,
you are the only member of his fan club.
Well, yeah, listen. Yeah, as a matter of fact, if the fat guy would be the perfect guy to call in on our contest, $50 gift certificate at Carrabba's.
That would cover an appetizer.
Yeah, probably a couple of appetizers. All right, I think
Well, let's check with the engineer. How
I'm
many
done with the
calls so
fat
far?
jokes.
You got one?
we have one.
Okay, 4 more.
All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to go to another.
We should have gave it to the one.
I'll tell you what.
No.
The one person hanging on, if I don't get to 5 in the next 5 minutes,
Then we're
going to
use our backup question. We got to use our backup. The rules are the rules.
I'm going to
The
give it
fifth
to
caller.
No, you got to give it to the caller.
I am. I'm going to give it to the one caller who called in. And then it'll have been on hold for 5
Could be the fat guy from France.
I know.
All right. So while we're
So
doing
let's
that.
repeat the question one more time.
No, I'm not repeating the question. I have too many good stories here that I know Mr. Harris is just waiting to hear.
Okay.
All right. The second story here. Yeah, this is the truth. Charles Manson. Remember Charles Manson?
Know him very well.
Okay, Charles Manson. Okay, psycho crazy killer has been on death row for I don't know how many years in the famed, and there he is on our screen. He is now, I think he's 79 years old. Mass murder Charles Manson is now 79 years old. Okay, and he hasn't gotten better looking over time. You ready for this?
It's funny. His haircut looks a little bit like yours, doesn't it?
Well, thank you, Richard. No, nothing like me. But he has your dental work, if anybody can see the picture. So the bottom line is he's getting married. He's marrying a 25-year-old woman. Okay? 79, right. Charles Manson is marrying a 25-year-old woman.
Let me guess where he met her. On a website called J-Date?
J-Date. What does J stand for, Richard?
Jail. Jail date.
So, it's the truth. It says he spent 44 years in prison, including the last 15 in the state prison of Corcoran, which I've never heard of, for the 1969 murders of actress Sharon Tate and other victims. A horrible, horrible story. So we actually have on our screen in the bottom lower left side a picture of his future wife. I can't see it in that picture, but I heard she has like a swastika carved in her head, and she's a mess. But
jeez. Where are they going on their honeymoon?
Well, listen, I've got a bunch of jokes that we're going to do about this, but as bizarre as that story is, a couple hours later, there's another story about Charles Manson that I haven't heard anybody do on the air, and you're hearing it from me. Here's the next article, Freddie. I didn't even tell you this. It says, Charles Manson says, I'm bisexual and I raped a man. Okay, and here's the article. Who knew? Charles Manson revealed he's bisexual and forced a man to have sex with him when he was 17. It says 79-year-old Manson who plans to get married to a 25-year-old woman told Rolling Stone. This Rolling Stone's the same magazine. Remember, put the terrace on the cover?
Yep.
Hey, listen. He says, Charles Manson's quote, sex to me is like going to the toilet. Whether it's a girl or not, it doesn't matter. I don't play that girl-guy stuff. I'm not hung up in that game. So this guy is a crazy lunatic.
I don't even think he should have the right to get married. You lose certain rights when you're a convicted felon.
So here's what I'm thinking to myself. Listen, if you're going to be getting married, okay, Charles Manson and Mrs. Future,
a convicted
Charles
felon
Manson.
in jail. When you get out of jail, of course, you can get married, but he's in jail for the rest of his life.
So
why should he have the right to get married?
Well, here's my question. What do you give these newlyweds as a wedding gift? Now, I shouldn't make light of it, but I can't help myself. And this is probably in bad taste, but I'm thinking to myself.
If it's in bad taste, then maybe not say it.
Well, he's bisexual, and he's not getting out. Just give him a man.
Well, that's a good one, Freddie. And I'm going to go around the room. But here's what I thought of, okay? Number one, a set of kitchen knives.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. All right. That's the way my mind works, Richard.
Yeah, I guess so.
My second choice of a gift, an electric chair. Every home should have one. Every cell should have one. Give the man an electric chair.
That say, please plug in before sitting down.
That's right. So here's the point. If you don't want to call in on our giveaway, how about at least, let's see if our audience is creative to come up with some ideas of what the perfect wedding gift for Charles Manson and his bride should be. While we're doing that, I know that we're coming up on a break, but you know what? Let's hold off on that for 1 second, and let's see who the caller is that is participating in the giveaway. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, caller, what is the correct answer? What is the third book in the trilogy of the Hunger Games?
What is Mockingjay?
You are correct, sir. You are the first Elkinson Freeman winner. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to have to stay on with our trusty board op, Lynn. Lynn, is this the way it works? He can stay, you'll get him on hold, you'll get his information where we can go ahead and mail his gift certificate.
Do you live in a part of the country that has a Carrabba Outback Bonefish Grill?
Yeah, I should say so.
Caller, where are you calling from?
Fort Lauderdale.
All right, well, listen, here's your choice. She can either take your address and we can mail it to you, or the Elkinson Freeman main office is on I-95 in Cypress Creek. So if you're in the area and just want to stop by the office, we can hand it to you, give you a hearty handshake, and thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, well, actually, what's funny is I'm actually going to be there on Wednesday. I'm actually an attorney. I have a deposition out there in Cypress Creek.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm looking on the board. Your name's Mike. Do you want to share your name? You want to give your practice a plug, Mike?
Well, full disclosure here, Dad, your son.
Oh, Christ. Mike, I can't say that.
Hold on.
No. What
Remember, no offense, family?
No, I'm not doing that.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
we can't do that. I'm sorry. No family members. You can't
Holy
be
cow, that
related.
violates the federal laws.
Nobody called. I had to tell you guys.
You didn't even know it was a family member.
No clue.
It's his son for like 25
Not only
years.
that,
He didn't
but
recognize his
It's
voice.
your son.
I'm buying this kid free dinner tomorrow night.
And
All
you
right.
didn't know that was your
All
son.
right.
No, I had no clue.
Holy man.
All right, so listen.
How could
Holy
you not
mackerel.
recognize my voice?
Because I just put you on. I'm an idiot. What can I tell you?
All right, then we're
I'm
going
an
to
idiot and you're an
all
idiot.
right.
We have rules at this station.
I think we better take
Hey,
a commercial break.
That's why, full disclosure.
All right,
Don't
thank
want
you.
to,
All right.
do anything
All right, we're going to come up with another question.
I have a backup question.
Backup question. So let's take a break now. When we come back from our break, we'll do our top. We'll give you a new question.
Okay, very good.
That was funny, though.
Please welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet network that's truly plugged in.
Are you doing the...
Internet television
I just didn't know, were you going to do the live one?
2 TV.
When you get back? Okay.
Can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development and they use all the latest platforms to help make your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes and live streaming as well as tape productions. Let AMP2 TV handle all of your television production needs. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP2.tv. Or call them at 1-866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422. This is the Elkins and Friedman Know Nothing Show. Time to get back to Alan and Rich for more. If you'd like to join in, just call in 1-800-889-0267 and become part of the show. That's 1-800-889-0267. Once again, Alan Elkins and Rich Friedman.
And we're back, everybody.
Well, I got to say one thing. You got to take your kids out to dinner and feed them a little bit more so that they don't have to come around.
Last time you saw your son.
Hey, listen.
What?
You make your kid buy you dinner. That's how cheap you are.
Okay, but... all
You
right,
want to
so-
give the trivia question, then
Yes.
I'm going to do a live commercial.
Okay, so again, we're going to do a trivia question, okay, and the fifth caller of my trivia question, okay, will win that.
You sure
Carrabba's
you don't
gift
want to
card.
say the first caller, Rich, the way it's going?
No, I want to do the fifth caller because
All right.
I'm going to see with my question. You're going to see how many calls come in.
All
Now
right.
again, this gift card, okay, is courtesy of Carbonose Home Repair, your door and window experts, and they're the ones that are sponsoring this trivia
Yeah, we
question.
get that. What's the
Okay.
question? We're
okay,
running out
but
of
again,
time.
800-889-0267. 800-889-0267. And here's the question.
Or 561-844-6167.
Okay.
561-844-6167. So what is your incredibly easy question?
And I'm going to read it so I don't make any mistakes.
All right.
Here's the question. Of the three major professional sports teams, okay,
In South Florida?
in South Florida, no, actually, I take that back. The question was written wrong. Of the three professional major sports, okay, of the three major professional sports, which are baseball, football, and basketball, okay, what was the last team that went undefeated during their season? Understand the question?
Yeah.
The three major sports teams.
Richard, I could be a one-celled single amoeba and I understand the question. Let's see if our audience gets
right.
it.
Baseball, basketball, football. What was the last team that went undefeated during their season? Fifth caller wins the gift card. Okay, callers, start calling in.
All right, now, while you're thinking about that
Hold
incredible...
on, 1-800-889-0267. Write that down.
Wow, that's amazing.
800-889-0267.
You guys are amazing.
Okay.
Richard, while they're thinking about that incredibly difficult answer, I'm going to do a live commercial.
A live commercial. Go ahead.
Now, this commercial, we have an employee of ours. Her name is Melissa. Melissa and her husband Kevin have just opened up a brand new restaurant.
It's excellent. I was there last night.
Well, for your free meal?
Well, of course, for my free meal.
All right, so here's the story. It's called Kevin's Sushi and Thai Restaurant. So,
Yes.
Richard, our trivia question could have been, what kind of food is Melissa serving at her sushi
That's
and
good.
Thai
See,
restaurant?
that was good.
Was that
Sushi
easy?
and Thai.
Sushi and Thai. Now, I'm telling everybody, this is a delicious restaurant. It's located just south of Southwest 10th Okay, so it's just north of Hillsborough on US 1. Okay,
In
so
what
it's
city?
on Federal Highway.
In what city?
So I don't know, what city would that be?
That would be
Deerfield
Deerfield
Beach.
Beach.
All right, now I'm going to read you some of these mouth-watering, delicious commercials.
Commercials, delicious.
I used to hear guys on
delicious
TV.
commercials,
Yeah, delicious. Okay, delicious, yummy rolls. She says so right on the menu.
and that's not counting Melissa, who's got a little bit of a roll.
Oh,
okay,
gee.
go ahead.
Richard, you're not getting any free food tomorrow.
That's
And
why
by-
I got it yesterday.
And by the way, if you'd like to see what Mr. Elkins and Friedman look like, there is a good probability we're going to be there tomorrow night about 7 o'clock.
Right.
At Melissa's, or I should say Kevin's Sushi and Thai Restaurant.
Now, if you tell them you listen to us on our show tonight,
Melissa has authorized us that
15% discount on your entire meal.
if you go there tomorrow and say, I heard it on the Elkins and Friedman show, then yes, Richard, you will get a 15% discount.
You know, Freddie's already writing down the name. He's
I'm
putting
going.
something- You're going.
I'm going.
It's good food.
No joke. You know, they've been in the restaurant business a long time.
Very long time.
And I have no doubt. As a matter of fact, Melissa took a recipe from another
Well,
restaurant.
don't
that I
mention
just
another
love.
restaurant.
I'm not mentioning the other restaurant, but the food is excellent and it's fresh as can be. So
Their
everybody.
sushi is fresh. Some restaurants, the sushi could sit there for a couple of days. They have fresh sushi.
Now, Richard, here's the truly amazing part.
What?
Our free commercial live spot is now over.
Yes.
Richard, I'm looking at the board. You know how many calls I see have come in on your incredibly easy?
How many questions? How many
I think
calls?
that would be 0. Lynn, do we have any callers?
No, I'm sorry.
right.
I like Carabas.
Are you like,
Hey, Lynn, do you know the answer to the question?
Yeah, give us the answer,
Well,
Lynn.
don't
We're
we wanna
not
wait a couple
related.
more?
No, I want to
For
know
people
if she
to
knows
call
the
in?
answer.
Richard,
Lynn, do you
this
know
is-
the answer?
Do you want me to guess now?
No, but do you know it?
I was thinking I did.
Okay,
Okay.
give us.
All right.
Okay, you want us to give
I
it?
think we should give it to Lynn.
No,
She's
she's
a hard
she's not
worker
the caller.
lady.
She works for the station, so she's not eligible under federal law.
She's not
That's right.
eligible.
Is that true? That's really true?
Yes.
Okay, so, Freddie, I understand
Right,
that
well,
I
let her give the answer, then we'll see if somebody calls.
No,
up.
no.
No,
Listen,
just let it hang now. We bring it to next week.
I was a little
Right, we could.
I don't know. I was a little risque last week, and I heard we got some calls to the station. Tonight, we give an incredibly easy question. We have a wonderful prize and not a call.
Yeah, but what you got last
do you
week
explain
wasn't the.
But those
Positive
people have to
calls.
eat too.
They were the anti-calls.
All right, here's what I got to say.
Caller.
Well, I know somebody that's listening.
You know,
If-
just
if-
because people don't call in doesn't mean they're not listening. There's thousands and thousands of people listening.
Well, I
They just
know.
just don't want to call.
I say, Ken Harris, if you know the answer to this question, call in and the prize is yours, my friend.
He can. He works for the radio station.
Right.
Yeah,
But let him
right.
call in anyway. No,
Well, should
no
we
gift
roll?
for him,
Should
though.
we roll the gift card over until the next
You
show?
roll it over. Keep
All right,
going.
we'll roll it over to the next show.
What you should have done is had the people from the new restaurant come in, bring some food, talk about that.
Yeah, well, they're busy. It's like a 30,
Yeah, they just
30
opened this
person.
week, but
yeah, they're
but maybe
slammed.
we'll do a show at their restaurant.
Why not?
Yeah.
And
think
I
that'd be
still,
great.
Freddie, I know we have listening audience around the country. So is there any way that they could go on our website and just email us? How
Well,
do
you
they
haven't
do that?
even said that you can see you guys on your website.
Okay, anybody out there, let's say that's either listening to New York, we had a call from Chicago, Los Angeles. I know you have all these restaurants out there, so we're going to give you the same opportunity before the end of the show. You merely have to do what, Freddie? They just have to email us?
They can write in the chat book. They can email you. They can go on Facebook. There's a lot of ways of contact.
So
You get the phone
how
number
did you
again.
know last week that somebody wrote us in? What did they do that on? They did it on
Well, they
our
went
website?
on Facebook.
On our Facebook. So you can go on what? The Elkins and Friedman Facebook page?
Yeah, they go on the Facebook page. There's our AMP TV, AMP2 TV Productions is another Facebook page.
All right, so I'll tell you what, to be fair, we've got about another 20 minutes left, so let's see if anybody writes in, and if you're the first one now, I'm done messing around with this fifth caller or writer. we just want one. Well, all right, I won't
All right.
even say.
So let's see who calls in.
All right, so
Okay.
should we go on with our stories?
On with the show.
All right, Richard.
Yes.
I've got a couple of articles, and I have to decide what would be an appropriate article to do at this time. Now, I have one that's a little risque.
Well, then let's leave that one out.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Freddie, do you think that was a risque article when I'm
Which
talking
one?
about the one?
They're all risque.
No, I'm talking about the one involving the female pleasure device.
All right. All right.
Let's go to the animal of the week.
Yeah.
We already did.
I don't want to be looking for a day job.
All right,
next
here's
week.
the story we're going to go to. We're going to go to an interesting lawsuit story. And Freddie, you can put up the picture of the 10-year-old girl. And here's the article. 10-year-old sues after she says her mom's ex won't return her pet poodle. So look at that incredibly cute picture
I
there.
have a question.
Yeah.
So her ex won't return the pet poodle. Is that her father?
No, it's her mother's boyfriend. It's her mom's ex-wife. So here's the story. Hannah Weiss, little Hannah Weiss, she's only 10 years old. She's from Farmingham Hills, decided to sue her mom's 54-year-old ex-boyfriend after she says he wouldn't return her teacup poodle. His name was Mystery.
Look how cute that little poodle is.
It is. That dog is incredibly
It
cute.
looks like a stuffed animal. He's so cute.
So the story goes, it says that this guy's name is Mitchell Rector. Okay, Mitchell Rector. He wouldn't return the poodle named Mystery after the girl and her mother moved out of his home. So it was one of these deals. Her mother's living with a guy. I guess they break up. She has a dog. And according to this lawsuit, it said that the guy volunteered to take care of the dog while they got settled in their new home.
And then refused to give the
So,
dog.
yeah. So, we've kind of heard stories like this before, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
But that's a pretty sad story.
Wouldn't give it back. So what happens, it says on Friday, Hannah spoke about her experience at a storytelling event, and now the story has gone viral. So this guy actually files a defense, and again, we don't know if it's true or not true, although I still side with the girl. He responded to her complaint saying, quote, the plaintiff, the little girl, abandoned the dog, gave it to the defendant to take care of, knowing that he wanted to care for the dog, and took another dog with her when she left. Again, don't know if that's true or not true, but I say if the little girl wanted her little teacup poodle back,
Give
how
her the
dare
dog
you?
back.
She's a little girl. Don't make that little girl cry.
So let me ask you, did they have a trial in front of a judge?
Well, it hasn't come up yet, but the bottom line, there will be a trial on this. And it says here, quote, according to her attorney, a big part of her innocence has been taken from her because she learned not to trust some adults. So
I can't imagine any judge not giving that dog back to her.
I can't either. So I say shame on you, sir. You got our Bad Guy of the Week award. All right, Richard, is it
Yes.
time for another break yet? Do we need a break or we can keep going?
No,
Let's
we're good.
keep going.
Good, let's keep going.
All right, we've done our sweet poodle story. We've done our crazy Charles Manson story. We've done our Too Fat to Fly story. We've learned about the platypus. We've learned about Toilet Day. So the next article I think I'll do, Richard, I've got two of them, but this is a funny article. We don't have a picture on this one. But this takes place in India. Got this out of the Huffington Post, and it says, a groom disappears on his bride, and a guest steps up and marries her instead. So that's not something
Really?
you hear every day.
So they're all waiting for
There
the
it is.
groom to show up. He's not there, so some guy volunteers to marry her, and she says yes?
It says when a groom in India failed to show up for his wedding this week, a guest stepped in to marry the bride instead. Okay, and let's see if they gave a reason. It says the festivities were already starting on a Tuesday evening when the bride's family learned the groom had vanished after an argument with the family. So he got cold feet, he bolted. It says
Jeez.
the bride's family went into a
Kind of like a
frenzy.
runaway bride, but now it's a runaway
Groom. It says they went into a frenzy. They stopped the marriage. They didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, a guy rose out of the audience and volunteered to marry her instead.
And she said yes?
And she said yes. So I don't know
You
what
have a
that
picture
says
of them?
about her.
Any pictures?
No, I'm sure they're a lovely couple. It says the wedding then took place as per the schedule, much to the relief of the family, who undoubtedly had paid for the event. And the other guests, everybody was happy. They congratulated and appreciated him for his timely gesture. So, in fact, the rest of the article, not that it's related, but I'm going to read this. It says this isn't the craziest thing to happen at a wedding in recent months. It says in September in the UK, a wedding was delayed after one of the guests, this is my kind of Rich, after one of the guests cut off his testicles in the chapel an hour before the ceremony.
Boy,
So,
I knew that was coming.
listen,
you can't resist.
You didn't let me tell my story, and I'm not making it up. Right out of the Huffington Post, a well-respected journal.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I could believe that, but
All right. Now,
knows?
let's go ahead and take our last break now, and then we'll come back, and we have more stories to get to.
don't go away. We'll be right back.
Life is so overwhelming right now, isn't it? Emotional and financial challenges too much? More debt than you can possibly handle? Are you facing divorce or another family law problem? Injured and don't know where to turn? There is a source of solid, affordable legal guidance. At Elkins and Friedman, an experienced lawyer will explain options and treat you with respect and dignity. They help people throughout Central and South Florida solve those problems. This is a law firm you can trust, where they actually pick up the phone when you call. They have a 30-year record of positive results, and they make legal costs manageable for people from all walks of life. Make the call, 954-372-2630. When you visit, you might even meet Tiffany, the office mascot. Elkins and Friedman take the intimidation and the worry out of getting the legal help you really need. Call 954-372-2630 and begin to make sense of your life. Offices in Fort Lauderdale, Boynton Beach, and Palm Beach Gardens. Non-lawyer spokesperson. You're listening to the Alan Elkins and Rich Friedman Know Nothing Show, with two longtime attorneys who are here to share their experience and knowledge and some fun along the way. The toll-free number, if you want to participate, is 1-800-889-0267.
And we're back, everybody.
All right, I got my headset on. I'm ready to go.
Richard, you know what I didn't realize? I'm so flabbergasted by nobody calling in for the free $50 Carrabba coupon. And it's a good restaurant,
I
too.
know.
All
I
right.
eat there often.
I always do an animal of the week, and I just completely forgot the animal of the week. So let's
What's
do the animal of the
week?
week. Okay, the animal of the week is the platypus.
Now, let me ask you, is the platypus a male? Not a male. Is that a mammal? Or is that a reptile?
Well, the platypus is fascinating for a variety of reasons. Anybody looking at elkinsandfriedman.com will see a picture of the...
now, the platypus is on the left. Okay, so don't confuse it with the
us.
two people on the right.
Essentially, you don't want them to confuse the platypus with us, Richard.
No,
But
please don't.
Here's what's fascinating about the platypus. It's like a combination of a bunch of animals.
Because you know what? Because the definition, sorry for interrupting you, of a mammal is I think that it's got to be warm-blooded,
Right?
okay? It gives birth to their babies
Right?
alive,
Right?
and there's something else. So I think that platypus has a little bit of both, right?
Well, here it is. The platypus is an unlikely mix of a duck. Okay, a duck because it has a bill and webbed feet. It's a little like the beaver because it has a tail.
Right.
And it's like an otter because it has body and fur.
Right.
And the other fascinating thing about the platypus, the male platypus actually has stingers in the rear of their feet to ward off animals. So let me just read you this. So the males have a venomous component to them, and sharp stingers on the heels of their rear feet.
Right.
But it says platypuses hunt underwater, where they swim gracefully by paddling with their front webbed feet. And then what they do, they have folds of skin to cover their eyes and ears to prevent water from entering. And what happens when they go in the water, not only does the skin go ahead and cover their eyes and mouth, but it says their nostrils close with a watertight seal. It says they can stay underwater for a couple of minutes. Now, this
if we keep going like this, we could rename our show The Wild Kingdom.
Look, I happen to love this stuff, and hopefully our audience, if they're out there and listening, appreciate what I'm teaching them about animals. Last week we had the dodo bird,
Which was great.
It was an interesting
And
story.
then the week before that,
we
was
had
with
the sloth.
The sloth.
The sloth.
Also known as Alan.
Thank you. But it says they're bottom feeders. It says they scoop up insects and larvae and shellfish with their bills, with bits of gravel, because I learned platypuses don't have teeth. So they use the bits of gravel to help them chew up their meal. And as you alluded to or touched on earlier, it's one of only two mammals that lay eggs.
Right.
Because mammals, they have live birth.
Well,
did you
the
say
show
that?
is laying a couple eggs tonight, I think.
Yeah, we're laying a big egg tonight, Richard. And
Yes.
you'll never guess. Look, if our audience can't figure out who's the only undefeated team in sports history in the last whatever, they're not going to know who the other mammal is.
Let's put it this way. Our listeners don't go to the movies, right? And they don't watch sports.
They don't watch, and they apparently don't eat it at Carrabba's, fine Italian restaurant.
Exactly.
Now, the name of this other mammal, maybe it'll be our animal of the week one week. It's called the echidna. I don't know that I'm pronouncing it.
The echidna.
It's ECHIDNA. Freddie, as long as you have a minute, nobody's calling. We're holding up a sign here. Freddie, what does the sign say that Lynn has?
They got the commercial to play.
Oh, okay.
We have to do what now?
No, she's just talking about the commercial coming up next.
All right. So besides laying an egg like we're doing, apparently the platypus is an animal that lays eggs. Freddie, look up. I never heard of this animal in ECHIDNA.
Never heard of that.
And one last interesting fact, when platypus infants are the size of lima beans and totally helpless, the females nurse their young for 3 to 4 months until the babies can swim on their own.
That's very
Alan,
nice.
that's porcupine.
It's a porcupine. I didn't know that. All right.
It's a type of porcupine, or it's all porcupines
You have a
have that
picture
name?
of a porcupine?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up right now.
I didn't know that. All right, so porcupine is the only other mammal. So if you want to, if you're sitting around the Thanksgiving table,
Wow, look at that.
and you go, can anybody here for an extra piece of turkey or stuffing tell me who the only 2 mammals are that lay eggs? You now, audience, know that it's the platypus and the porcupine. Now, as interesting as that is, Richard, I
Yes.
still have more stories. One again, a legally related story. There are 2 that I want to get to before the end of the show.
Right.
One concerns a gentleman who apparently owned a strip club. He bought a house next to his next-door neighbor and disliked his ex-wife so much that he installed, I'll read it, a giant middle finger statue. So I don't know what this says about the
Right.
guy, but anybody looking at the Elkinson Freeman website,
Yeah.
I don't really see it there. Is that it, Freddie?
I'm looking.
I don't know. It's on the site, but this guy went out of his way to erect a sculpture that was 12 feet tall.
It looks expensive.
It says it faces his next-door neighbor, which is his ex-wife, and at night he has a spotlight trained on it.
That statue must have cost thousands of dollars.
Absolutely. It's a bronze statue. I don't see how much it actually costs, but it's pretty bad that you dislike your ex so badly that that's what you do.
It's a huge finger.
Oh, it's a huge. Oh, did you block out? You blocked out the middle finger, didn't you?
No, they did.
Oh, on your picture, it's funny. On my picture, you can see the finger. Very interesting. All right. So that's that story.
Yes. Can you outdo that one next? Or?
Well, I can. I can't get to the story about the woman who shoplifted the female pleasure device, but perhaps I'll save that for next week.
Yes.
But here's another fascinating story. There is a French weather girl, and her name is Doria Tillier. And she's a 27-year-old French broadcaster.
There she is, right there on the screen.
Wow, she's good looking.
Yeah.
So here's the story. She made a vow to her audience, a promise that said there was an upcoming World Cup game between the French national team and the Ukraine. And she said on air she would present the weather naked if France made it to the World Cup, advance to the next round. So don't you know, she says, quote, I promise that if we qualify tonight, I vow in front of the whole of France that I will tomorrow do my
Even in front of that
naked.
500-pound guy?
Yeah, I think
Wasn't he
so.
from France? Right.
He probably wanted to eat her, but all right, enough fat jokes.
All right.
I'm not gonna. All right, we'll just move on.
Yeah.
It says that the team, it says Les Bleus, trailed 0-2 on aggregate in a 2-leg playoff, meaning they needed to win at least 3-0 to qualify. Don't you know France did just that? They rallied back. It says it was an epic comeback, and so she had to, of course, perform naked. And apparently she twittered a profanity. She says, I'm starting to stress. Well, guess what? She lost. So it says millions of viewers tuned in on Wednesday to see the former model and actress live up to her word. And it says, and in the meantime, another 145,000 joined her Facebook website called Doria Tiller, Keep Your Word.
Is she still with the television station doing the weather?
Yes, and she did. She followed through, and she presented the weather naked. Now, she did it in a creative way, and anybody that can find this online, I went and looked at it. It was actually quite funny. She's running naked in a field in France. It's from quite a difference, so she, you can see a little backside, but here's a woman that
very
lived
nice.
up to her word. So, Richard, I'm
Yes.
saying, what would it take for you to do this show naked, like she did the weather? What
Probably
would it
just
take?
ask me.
Just ask you. I thought that was funny, Richard. Okay, I'm going to make a vow.
What's that?
If we have, and let's say in the next 2 weeks of shows, okay, if we can get 20 listeners to call in, you and I will do the show naked.
Sounds
Are
good
you
to
with
me.
me?
I'm with you.
All right.
We'll be off the air.
We'll definitely be off
we'll
the
be
air.
off the air by then. But
All right.
all right. So I hear the music, Richard.
We got to say goodnight again.
No callers, but I had a fun time.
But we have a
I don't
lot
know
of
about you.
listeners, just no callers.
A lot of
Remember that.
listeners.
A lot of listeners, no callers.
All right, listeners, have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.
Right, and don't forget, call in. Good night.
Are you dreaming about your next home improvement project? Let the experienced Carbonneau craftsmen help make your dream home a reality. Call them at 954-984-9393 and let them help you redo the things in your home that make it special. At Carbonneau, they specialize in residential door and window design, repairs, and screens. They carry the top brands you know and trust: BHI, Galaxy, Windor, and ES. They'd be happy to create a signature look for your home. Call Carbonneau at 954-984-9393 and let them know you heard about them on the Elkins and Friedman Know Nothing Show. And you'll get a special 10% discount just for mentioning their name. 954-984-9393 is the number for Carbonneau Home Repair. And the sooner you call them and have the home team at your doorstep, the faster that'll make your dream house a reality. Call today or visit their website at CarbonneauHomeRepair.com. That's 954-984-9393. Schedule a free estimate today. 954-984-9393. You've been listening to the Elkins and Friedman Know Nothing Show, where maybe you learned a little something in spite of them. To reach Alan Elkins or Rich Friedman at their offices, call 954-772-6014 or 561-738-5988. Out of area, call toll-free 1-800-922-1277 or go online to elkinsandfriedman.com. Friedman is spelled with 2 E's. Be back here next week for more from Elkins and Friedman and their Know Nothing Show.